Good evening, everyone. We will start the session shortly. Please wait a few minutes until everyone joins. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to all of you. Here in this wonderful evening, we are going to mark the beginning of the first event for this late term, INCITE Episode 1, the Voice of Intern, organized by LED KLN at University of California. I am Malindi Pabasera, your moderator for the evening. First of all, let me give you a brief idea about this session series. Well, INCITE series are mainly organized to give all of you an insight into the outer world that you have to step into after your graduation. Aligning with the objective of LED KLN, this is the first step of bridging that gap between the undergraduate and corporate world. So this year INCITE is organized with two separate sessions, where the first session targets undergraduates that plan on entering industrial careers, whereas the second session targets undergraduates that plan on continuing their pathways in academia. Right. So through this first session, we aim to provide you all with a distinct understanding of internship opportunities. All right. I think now you have a clear understanding of the session. So let's move forward towards the commencement. And to commence the event officially, I would like to invite Piyumali to warmly welcome you all to this fruitful evening. Over to you, Piyumali.
Thank you, Malindi. Good evening, everyone. It's my pleasure to welcome each and every one of you for the first episode of INCITE 2022, organized by LED KLN of the University of California. First and foremost, I would like to welcome our beloved guest speakers to this wonderful evening. The General Manager, Sales and Marketing at MAS Holding, Mr. Sandamara Ranatunga, welcome to the session, sir. Then the Finance Manager at Serendipol Private Limited, Mr. Milan Ratnayaka, welcome to the session, sir. and the Trade Marketing Executive at Heineken Lanka Limited, Ms. Shanella Fernando. Madam, we warmly welcome you. Next, I would like to welcome the Senior Treasurer of the club, Dr. Dilani Wickramarajchi, to this remarkable session. And also the backbone of LED KLN. I warmly welcome our dearest executive board members for today's session. Without members, there would be no club. So this warm welcome is for all our members who are here with us today to gain the perks of being a member of LED KLN. The main purpose of today's event is to provide a distinctive idea about internship and their significance in order to brighten up an individual's career journey. I hope you will grab the maximum out of this session. So once again, I welcome you all to this evening and I invite you to be here with us until the end. Thank you. Over to you, Malindi.
Thank you, Phimali. Thank you very much for that warm welcome. Right. Okay, so without any further ado, let us begin our insightful panel discussion. Right. First of all, let me tell you all that we are so grateful and proud to have our panelists here with us today, especially because they are sparkling gem of the University of Kelaniya. And let me take a quick second to introduce them to all of you. First, we have Mr. Sandamal Ranatunga, the General Manager, Sales and Marketing at MAS Holdings, and Ms. Shanella Fernando, the Trade Marketing Executive at Heineken Lanka Limited, and Mr. Milan Ratnayaka, the Finance Manager at Serendipol Private Limited. Right. Before beginning the session, I kindly request you all to mute yourself so that the session won't be interrupted. And we have allocated time for a Q&A session as well at the end of the session. So keep your questions ready and they will be answered in due time. So let us begin our fruitful discussion. Right. So commence the discussion. First, I would like to hear from all three of the panelists. Can you give us a brief introduction about yourself, such as your undergraduate life at University of Kelaniya and how you started your career and also your take on internships? So first, I would like to invite Mr. Sandamal Ranatunga to answer that question.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir, we can.
Okay, thank you. First of all, thank you very much for inviting me and giving this opportunity to connect with young undergraduates. It's always a pleasure to share our experience with young undergraduates and share our experience, not to tell them or teach them what is right, but to share our experience and what our path was, so that if there's anything that you can grab from that, we are more than happy. That is what we always would like to have. So about me, I graduated from the same university about 15 years back. 2007 I graduated. During my university life, I would say we were quite active. If you know about the Exposition magazine in MIT, so I was the founder. And if you know about the career fair Inspiring the Next, I was the founder, co-founder. And if you know about the Gavel Club All-Iron International Best Speakers Contest, I was the founder. So we had some exciting time at the university. I think more than the degree, all these activities we did during our time helped me to be where I am today. Actually, it's quite funny because even though we were the organizers of the career fair, I didn't get time to sit for even for a single interview during the career fair because we were so busy organizing. But at the end of the career fair, I had to select one job out of 4 opportunities came on my way. I finally chose MAS, which I'm happy that I made that decision. So I don't think there's a lack of opportunity. It's a matter of how we prepare ourselves during our university life to get into that opportunity. Like as we speak, I have 4 vacancies with me. that we are looking to recruit executives, we can't find good CVs. We have a tight principle that we don't want to just onboard people. We want the right caliber. Because rather than waiting for few more weeks to get the right caliber, if we onboard wrong person, we are suffering forever. So I better suffer for few more weeks until I find the right caliber. So what we want from the undergraduates is to prepare yourself to perform well in the interview, to convince the interview panel and the people inside the organization that you are the right caliber that we are looking for. So I would say more than like we didn't let go of our studies. I luckily ended up with a second-class degree, but more than that, what really helped me is all these extracurricular activities and the sports that we did during the university days. While doing all these activities, I was part of a team also, so that helped. I think that explains about the university life, right? Or do you want me to cover some more areas?
Yes. I didn't really catch what you said. The last part. I hope you can hear
what
me.
I said is like from the university life, yes, we studied, but
am I audible?
yes, you are audible. Can you hear me?
Okay. Anyway, I can, sir. Yes.
Okay. So what I said last was that as much as the degree, it is all the extracurricular activities that help me to mold me to be who I am today, and that's what helped me to get into the industry. More than that, that is what helped me to fast track my career. Because we have faced problems during the university life. We knew how to manage university life. Later in the discussions, I'll explain some of the challenges we faced when we were doing all these activities during the university life and how we learned from that.
We would like
to start with.
Yeah, so we would like to hear that from you. So that's really impressive because as undergraduates, we should manage our studies as well as extracurricular activities. So we have a question related to extracurricular activities as well. So before moving on to those questions, I would like to hear from Mr. Milan Ratnayaka. What do you have to share with us about these questions?
Thanks, Malindi. I believe I'm audible to you.
Yes, sir, you are.
Good. Thank you very much for inviting me for this session, and it's a great privilege to be here. Actually, representing the corporate world, as Sandhanath said, between the corporate requirement and what's coming out of the university, especially from the local universities. So it's a great initiative that you guys have started. To introduce myself, like as you said, I'm from University of California. Even though I'm holding a finance position today, I did a physical science degree. I did statistics and computer science, and I later joined world largest shipping line called Maersk. Joined finance organization, finance section, and from there I started my career in finance. So I worked in Sri Lanka and went abroad and worked a few years abroad as well, and came back to Sri Lanka again. So university, if I speak about the university life, what paved my career is the university life. Even though I'm not in the field I studied in the university, but the learnings I got from other learnings, how to work with people, how to work with the team, how to get things done, how to face challenges, like all these things help a lot. Especially the facilities we had in the university, like I was in the university in the time of 2003, 2004, 5, where we had free internet in the university. We had a great IT lab. So that was the starting point of my career. So one day I suddenly I saw this advertisement about this Maersk, which I didn't know, which changed my career. So I applied from there. I applied from the university, and that's where I started my career.
Okay, sir. Thank you. So yeah, let's move on to Miss Shanela. Yes, Miss Shanela, over to you.
Hi, Malindi. Again, I should thank everyone for having me here today as a panelist. And it's wonderful to actually interact with Mr. Sandoval and Milan as well. I have been super excited to be a part of this session alongside such great individuals from our university as well. So to give a brief about my university career, I think I'm the freshest out of the three panelists today. So I was an undergraduate. I just passed out from university. So I was in the batch of 2016-17. And currently I'm employed at Heineken Lanka as a trade marketing executive. So during my career, university life, I was also involved in several other projects and the activities related to several clubs at university. I was one of the co-captains for our university department debating team, as well as the university department committees. And additionally, I was able to volunteer in several projects for Road Track and Gavel. And as Mr. Sandamal and Milan said, that is one of the major opportunities that carved me to be this corporate person, because you get a lot of exposure through those projects. Extracurriculars is always a must alongside your academics. So during university, I was able to gain that exposure both through academics as well as by being a part of several clubs and the projects related to those clubs. And I should always remind the lecturers who have been supportive as well throughout it, because they gave us a lot of insights about internships, because just over a year ago only I was interning to cover my hours in my degree program. So that was very helpful, and I should always be grateful for that opportunity as an undergraduate. And being a part of local university was one of the best decisions that I've ever taken in my life. I mean, it carves you in a way to endure a lot of pressure, a lot of balancing in between academics as well as other professionals that you do. So my university journey was fruitful. Those days I had a lot of doubts, like I was not the most enthusiastic about being in university. But so far, when I look back, it has been doing wonders for me. And today I'm here thanks to California University, as well as the opportunities and the people who helped me be here as well.
Yeah, thank you, Miss. I think this discussion is exactly what we need to hear, because in few months or in few years, we would be stepping into the corporate world. So, and we will be doing internships, so we will directly go to the jobs. Yeah, so let's move on with the questions. Right. Okay, so this question is for Mr. Sandamal. Right. There's a big procedure behind applying for an internship, right? So could you explain the typical procedure of applying for an internship, sir?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can.
Okay, so there are two types of internship that we offer at MAS. One is that all universities, you have this structured time period that the entire batch goes out and supposed to get an internship for 3 months or 4 months or 6 months. So all the students go out at the same time. So most of the time, those kind of internships we offer as a support to the university and undergraduates for them to come and learn. At the same time, sometimes we have internship opportunities here at INCITE when we have short-term vacancies, or when we want to fill for maybe support an individual who wants some support for a short-term period. That time also we create some opportunities for people to come and get that experience. So the first type of internship, we mainly focus on helping these kids to have a view of the corporate life and also come and learn what we do, get some exposure. At the same time, they are quick learners to contribute to a certain level to the business. But the second type of internships, we are actually trying to see people who can come and help us a little bit more compared to normal internship. And one thing we always do is in the first type of internships, what we try to do is to earmark people to see who are the potential candidates for us to recruit in the future. Because normally, I don't know whether it's fair or not, but each and every organization, we have to recruit people based on an interview. Like if you are good in talking, if you are good in presenting, sometimes even we get fooled by the things that you tell. But sometimes you might not be the best person for the job. But if you come here, work with us for 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, we can actually see how you are, your performance are, your intelligence levels are, how eager you to learn for real. So we actually earmark people from that opportunity, and then we later, when we have opportunities, if you are good, we call you back. Like even the one of the founders of LED, I don't know whether you know Harsha. I think he's one of the founders.
Yes.
So he was interning with me. So after his internship finished, moment I got a vacancy, I called him and I got him the job. So so likewise, that's how we earmark people, and we get them into job when we have openings. So those are the things that we focus when we are doing internships.
Okay, right. So we are pleased to hear those words from you, because as you said, like there are two types of internships, structured time, an internship where there is a structured time period, and the second one is a friendship opportunity. So I think doing an internship, it makes you understand what you are passionate about. It gives you some time to think, okay, do I like this job? I think in doing an internship, it kind of molds you into a person who you would like to become. Yeah, thank you, sir. So let's move on to the third question. So this question is for Mr. Milan. Right. What are the considerations when choosing a company to complete an internship? So which is better, sir, a well-reputed large company or a small-scale organization?
First of all, before I know that in university you have to do math. Sometimes it's mandatory to do the internship. But before you start anything, better to now. You guys are leaving the university and you are entering the corporate world, which is totally different. It's a totally different world game out there. So you need to have a purpose, at least a plan for next 2-3 years where your career needs to go, and what should be your ultimate objectives. It's better to think in this stage rather than waiting for another 5-6 years. So it mainly depends on your requirement or your purpose or what you want to do. So like, for example, some people want to start their own business. They don't want to work for a company. So immediately they want to be an entrepreneur. So for them, internship is a different experience. And there are some other people who want to move in the corporate ladder and work in a good corporate and move up there. And some people, especially in this kind of environment, people try to go abroad. So whether you want to work in Sri Lanka and whether you want to go abroad, so you need to first consider all these things. Right? So then you have to think what I'm going to do and what's the best suited position for me. So organization. So after that, you start looking for organizations. So as I said, there are a lot of organizations in Sri Lanka, like you can categorize. There are small companies, then large companies, private limited, then PLCs, holding companies. Again, selecting a company depends on what you want to do. Right? If you want to learn about the entire process, especially I'm talking from the finance angle, because I'm in finance. So if you want to learn the end-to-end process, it's better to go for a small organization where you can learn. But don't go for like non-reputed organizations. There are small private limiteds which are part of large holding companies. Like I have worked for Hemas and Haley's. So there, even though there are big holding companies, there are some small private limited subsidiaries of them. So you get the chance to learn the entire process. The disadvantage if you go into a big organization is you get stuck into one area. So if you say finance, you might learn only small piece. But if you go into a small organization, you get the chance to learn the end-to-end process. But the disadvantage in a small organization that the corporate culture and those things might be different, might be not ideal. So that's why I said to go to a private limited in a holding company. So that the culture is there also, you get the contacts, you have a career path. Like if you want to go up in the organization, you can always move between the companies in the holding company. So As I said, it depends. If you want to go for if you are planning to go abroad, then start looking for a multinational, or there are some shipping companies, then IT companies like that, where you can easily go abroad using their contacts. So yeah, that's it.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Milan. I think the audience should take note of these things because these like some might be thinking of going abroad or stay in the country and work. So I think you should take note of these things because we will be stepping out to the corporate world, and these points will be very useful for us. Okay, thank you, Mr. Milan. So next question. So this question is for all the three panelists. What are some of the most suited companies to complete an internship in the field of science, commerce, arts, and IT? First, I would like to hear from Mr. Sandamal. Sir, you are on mute.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, now we can, sir.
I think it again refers to what Mr. Milan mentioned. Again, depend on like what you would like to do. Like if you look at me, like I studied MIT at INCITE, and I'm into sales and marketing now. All my friends are into IT, and the finance director in our company, again, the same person from MIT, 2 years older than me. So like, I don't think the field that you're studying is relevant that much because like being undergraduate, even I used to think that what I learned is what I'm going to do when I join the industry, but it's totally different. Like end of the day, what you carry from the university is common sense and the knowledge to face situations. Everything else you will learn on the job. Like in the university with theories and practicals, what we actually learn is to how best we adopt a situation, how fast we learn theories and put that in practical situation. So with like some of the fields that you are in right now, whether it's IT or management or science, so sometimes it might not be by choice because when you are 15, 16 years old, you decide I want to do science, so I want to do math, so art. And after that, you are stuck with that field.
Yeah.
And when now we are about 20, 22, 24, now we are trying to define what you want to do based on a decision you made 5, 6 years back. And now your interest might be different. You are in a field that you feel like you don't want to be anymore. Like, especially like say if you are doing arts now. So what are you going to do? What is your interest area? So if you think that people who are doing art should be only in fields related to art, it's not the case. Like some of the senior directors in MAs are people from the faculty of art. It is a common sense that they learn from there, and everything else is secondary. They were in different areas in HR and finance and operations from the knowledge they gain. So don't limit yourself and your opportunities to what your curriculum in the university. It is only a guideline. If you really like to do that, say you are studying IT right now and you want to be a programmer or you want to get into network or database, whatever you decide that is, by all means. But don't take it as a limitation. Now, when I was in the university, I was thinking I want to be that branding person. But after first year, I decided I'm not going to go into doing programming. I don't want to sit in front of a computer and do programming all my life. So I thought I'm going to do branding. But when I entered the corporate world, I realized my project management skills with organizing all the projects in the university and everything is the best edge that I have. It will help me to fast track in my career compared to any other field. Like say I'm good in marketing, but among 10 people who's good in marketing, I'll be one. But knowing marketing, being in marketing, but if I'm really good in operations, project management, then I will have an edge. So try to understand what your strong area is. and then try to go and what really makes you happy. Then try to do that.
Exactly.
So like all my friends into IT, and if I decided I also want to be, and my family, my sisters and they are having PhDs and all in IT. If I decided that is the path for me also, I might not be the happiest now. Being in MIT, if I did IT job. So don't try to define your future based on the decision you made 6-7 years back. You can select what you want to do right now, and start from here.
Yeah, I think this is something I was willing. I was waiting to hear, because I also had the same question, because I am doing a degree but I don't feel like I think all of us might have this question, like, am I really enjoying what I'm doing right now? So I have that question with me, and I was wondering, okay, am I going to stuck in a job where I don't feel like doing? So I think we can start now. I think that's a green light that Mr. Sandamal has showed us. So yeah, thank you, sir. So next, we would like to hear from Miss Shanela. Over to you, Miss.
Yes, Malindi. So, as Mr. Sandama said, I totally agree with it. At the end of the day, what you learn in university is something that you barely apply, because all these theories you learn about order to everyone, it never really shows up at work. It's the skills of multitasking, balancing, what that matters, what you learn through the projects that you were involved with, and balancing those projects with academia is what matters when you enter the corporate world. But just to answer your question about certain companies, I would definitely recommend to go through it more. But for fields such as in commerce, again, it depends with where your passion lies. As an example, if you're into finance or HR, you can go for a vast number of companies. But if you're into a career that is in sales and marketing, I would highly suggest to work with a company that has a lot of brands that you can gain that exposure through, because in marketing you get hands-on experience when you work directly with a brand that you get to give it to either a business or to a consumer. So that way it depends on when you have to choose the company. So if you are into a particular field of expertise that you want to look out for, you could check out the opportunities where the best exposure comes through from those opportunities. And but there are a few companies, not to mention the names, but a lot of multinationals, they are heavily recruiting as well, and a lot of companies where you even have chances to be a part of internship programs, where these internship programs actually give you the cross-functional exposure. It won't just limit you to HR or finance, but you can have projects between each other functions. So if you can look out for those companies as well, it would be helpful for you to figure out what you want to do, or to at least get an idea of what you want to do. Because as you said, undergraduates, even I had that question some time back, you're not sure whether this is what you want to do, or is this 9-to-5 job really your thing. It is one of the doubts that all undergraduates, you, me, everyone faces. But gaining that exposure, you should always look out as a passion more than just a job opportunity. Is this what you do or want to do with your life? Is this what you want to have? And the passion is one of the most important parts that I see. And multinationals and even some of the established local companies, it will always be helpful for you to gain that cross-functional exposure. So that is something that I would highly recommend in selecting a company in your internships.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Shanela. I think, yeah, what you said is true. Okay, I think the audience must have gained a lot of information through this discussion. Next, I would like to hear from Mr. Milan. Over to you, sir.
Totally agree with Sandamal and Shanila. You have to point we repeatedly mention is you don't have to stuck with a specific area. There are a lot of people, there are a lot of examples even in my previous organizations, especially people started from finance, they moved to general management, like that. So it's always internship is an opportunity that where you can test and to make sure whether this is the right place. So if you are in finance, do a finance internship, but take a call after 6 months. It's only 6 months, whether it's a really your thing to do. So it's a good opportunity to select where you want to be. So if you want to, if I mention about the organizations, again, depends on what you want to do. And I would recommend a reputed organization, because one thing you have to gain from the internship, more than the technical side, organization culture, where how you work in a corporate company. It's different from the university life, where you talk how to handle certain things. It might be different from organization to organization. Organization culture depends on the organization, and there's a vast range. But if you go into a good reputed organization, you will get some standard practices where you can use in your later career. So I would recommend such kind of a reputed organization. It can be a multinational, it can be a local organization. So try to get into a reputed organization.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much for those words. Yeah, actually, it's our passion, right? Because we do a job with and that it should be something like we are passionate about, because we are doing that. So thank you, dear sirs and madams, for those inspiring words. So yeah, let's move on to the next question then. Ms. Shanella, this question is for you. Right. What is the importance of extracurricular activities when applying for an internship or a job opportunity?
That's actually a great question. As previously said throughout this panel discussion, extracurriculars are very much important, and even to be mentioned in your CV, it is one of the most key aspects to be in a CV. Extracurriculars are those factors that makes your CV stand out from the rest of the candidates who will be applying for it. So one of the reasons why extracurriculars are so important is it shows how well you can multitask, how well you can negotiate and collaborate with people. Because if you are a person who's holding a title in one of the clubs or any initiatives of your university, such as road track or gabble or whatever club may it be, it shows that you're good in balancing other things while you are being an undergraduate. While you're doing your academics, you can handle other stuff as well. So having that extracurriculars show that this person, this candidate will be a better fit for the organization rather than another, not to call names, but another bookworm or just a person who is only focused on academics, because it will definitely help you show off your skills. And even in a CV, one of the key important factors that any recruitment personality would check would be the extracurriculars, how well this person have interacted well with people, about the positions they have held, because with these positions comes a lot of responsibilities, a lot of leadership skills, and again team building skills, which are the ones that are important once you go to the corporate world. Because as we said before, it's not just the academics. So extracurriculars and doing extracurriculars are important. Sometimes it might be a little bit of a hassle balancing both with your academics, but still trying to multitask, trying to manage time skills, it will help you gain that extra credit over the rest of the candidates who will be applying for the same internship opportunities. Because at the end of the day, it's always a matter of fact between quality over the quantity. No matter how, even if it's 100 candidates who would be applying for a job, if around only 2 or 3 if they are having the same academic background, same GPAs and same professionals, those extracurriculars will be the ones that make you emphasize yourself and stand out from the rest of the applicants. So I would highly recommend anyone to be a part of projects, because it's not just for a matter of the CV or to get the job, but at the end of the day, those skills will be important to be a part of. I mean, it is important for life as well, to multitask and to handle pressure, timelines, because we face a lot of uncertainty around us, a lot of negativities. Therefore, like those will groom you to be a better person. So it's not just having it in the CV or just showing it to your interviewer at the panels, but as a matter of fact, it will always be helpful to be a future fit candidate as well as for your life. Therefore, extracurriculars, Malindi, is something that is vital. And again, always make sure you show it off, show those strengths and your skills in your CV, because the topic today is about an internship. So it is one of the key aspects to be in your CV, definitely.
Exactly, Miss. I agree with you because doing extracurricular activities enable you to step out of your comfort zone and check what we can do, right? So yes, exactly. So okay, thank you, Miss Chanela, for like those words are so inspiring for us, because we think okay, it is a bit of a hassle to do academics and all these extracurricular activities, but at the end of the day, what matters is the experience we get, right? So thank you, Miss Chanela. Right. Next question is for Mr. Milan. Sir, what are the significant facts that should be considered when creating a CV for an internship opportunity?
Just for internship in any kind of CV, like it's general rules. Like, so if I'm a person who's recruiting, I will mention few where I see a lot of gaps in the fresher CVs, which I can see. So start with the format and start with the photograph. Like sometimes if you are putting a CV, if you are putting a photograph in your CV, make sure that it's a professional photograph. I have seen a lot of CVs with not suited photographs. So just looking at the photo, sometimes you get disqualified. You can see pictures from parties, from a beach. Don't do that. Put a good professional photograph. That's the first point where you get a CV. That's the first thing your interviewer will see. So that's number one. Then make sure that you highlight your special qualifications, like Shanla said, whatever the extracurricular activities you do, make sure that you highlight, you give a weight for that. That's where you stand out from the other crowd. Then that you make sure that you mention all your information, that is like your education and the extracurricular activities you have done, because sometimes I see CVs where I have to spend a lot of time to find the A levels and O levels going through, and it's tough time, because in our organization we look at those results as well. So that's number 3. And make sure it's short. Don't drag it more than 1 page. So I'm sure internship CVs can be fitted into one page. So make sure, because in HR department in the organization, they get a lot of CVs. So to screen those, if it goes to multiple pages, the disadvantage is sometimes they will miss key information, like whatever the extracurricular activities you have done and your key strengths, sometimes they might miss. So make sure it's if you can fit it to one page, that would be great. So keep it simple. So don't try to do fancy things. Follow a simple format and try to give the maximum information, whatever the relevant information, to make you stand out from the others.
Yeah, thank you, sir. So the photograph, and make sure to highlight the qualifications and the information, and make sure it is short. Thank you, sir. Right. Mr. Sandama, this question is for you. What are the points to be focused when preparing and facing an internship interview? Okay, I think Mr. Sandamal is not here with us now. Okay. Right, I think we all face these power cuts, and these are like new normal for all of us. So I would like to pass this question to Mr. Milan. I will be telling the question again. What are the points to be focused when preparing and facing an internship interview?
Okay, first, I have been doing a lot of internship interviews last 2-3 years to get a suitable person, and but the thing we see is if we interview 10 people, sometimes it's difficult to find a suited person, a single person out of 10. So it's like that. People say there are no vacancies, but it's not true. There are a lot of opportunities there, but it's the failure to find the suitable person. The suitable person is not there in the market. So first thing, what I can see in the new generation, like especially coming out from the local universities, the way they talk or they express in the interview. So sometimes they are well prepared. I know we have been doing a lot of interviews, and from the experience we know, like first the most probable question, the first question that you ask is tell me a little bit about yourself, what your background, education background, and that. Out of 100 out of 99 out of 100 times they will give a superb answer, and you know that it's a memorized answer. So first question I also always put that. Then the second question I put is a tricky question, so like where you have to think and answer. Like, so for example, give me an example from your university life where you mentioned where you showed the teamwork. Give me a scenario where you showed teamwork in the university. Those kind of questions, a lot of people get stuck. That's because the most important asset we have as a person is our brain. So our university students, they don't they learn to use the brain. So that's the biggest sad thing I see. A lot of people, they read the books and memorize things, but the most important thing they don't learn how to do. So always like get well prepared for the interview and try to be creative. Or like if there's a sudden question asked from the interviewer, you should be able to use your brain. You need to think and you need to answer. Right? It's not the language. Sometimes people think we studied in single medium and English we can't answer. They think it's the language. No, it's not the language. Thinking and speaking is a skill you have to learn. You have to practice and learn that. Because if I ask a tough question for a single medium student, they still find it difficult. It doesn't matter whether you ask from English or Sinhala. So Sinhala is your mother tongue, most of us, but they will find it difficult. So it's not about the language. It's about the coordination between your mouth and the brain. So develop that. So then you can easily face any interview. Then the dress code, dress properly. Like if you are a boy, you are a tie. If you are a gent, and girls also, there are accepted grooming. Expected dress code. Always follow that. Don't wear like fancy colors. Always go for a single color dress. So wear a tie. Then another thing is about this online interview. So last 2 years especially, we had the first interview online. So if you are facing for an online interview, make sure that you are not in a quiet place, and you have a good background, because I can see sometimes the mosquito nets and the beds are also in the background. So that's not nice if you are facing an interview. Then why you are suited for the job, so where you can contribute for the job. So those things will be important other than the basic things.
Okay, sir. Yeah, like I think this is like one of the most difficult experience, like difficult moments that a job applicant experience in their life, because uh, interviewing, like getting interviewed by someone is like tough, because we don't know what the interviewer will be asked us. So yes, so memorizing won't help the audience. Memorizing things won't help, and we have to be creative for for certain questions. And another thing that will be important is the coordination between mouth and the brain. So thank you, Mr. Milan, for that wonderful answer. So next question is for three of the panelists. Right. How have your internship experiences contributed to your career so far? So I would like to hear from Ms. Shanela first. Yes, Ms. Shanela.
So Malini, I started my internship at Unilever Sri Lanka. I was a part of one of the internship programs called Next Gen Customer Development, that is our sales wing at Unilever. So during this internship, this was supposed to be a 6 months program. I was able to gain exposure in pretty much the entire CD card, meaning how our internal as well as our external sales forces work, how the connections between marketing departments and the sales department works. Because all these departments are key components which gives the end result for the customer development department. So we were given projects, and we were able to collaborate with other projects, including other cross functions as well. So my journey at Unilever Sri Lanka has been fruitful. It created wonders for me because I was able to gain another contractual positions right after the internship, and as well as other job offers. Actually headhunted for other job offers right even before getting out from university. So I was able to gain a lot of exposure, not just in my department, but about what happens in other departments, because I always mention that cross-functional exposure is something in your internship that will always help you to achieve and gain that idea about how people work, how teams work together, because you get a lot of, you meet a lot of people. And I need to mention, because I started some 1.5 years ago. So during that time, I was also facing COVID. I had to work from home. I did not meet my team in my first 2 months. That is like 1/3 of the entire internship program. So that was a bit of a challenge, but I was so that's where your people skills and your soft skills matters, because you have to talk to people, you have to connect with them through Teams or phone calls or whatever possible, because it's not the similar work environment that you have at an office. It's very much different. So that's where your true potential comes out. So at Unilever, for me, the people around me, to date, I have been connecting with them, like even parties and everything informally, but that exposure is what molded me to go for other offers. As I said before, it created a lot of job opportunities for me that I had no issues, because a part of the issues that most undergraduates faced after university is they lack any opportunity that or no follow-up job opportunities for them. So if you have the right skills, if you learn the maximum in your internship, that will never happen for you. So and one of the best skills that I learned was leadership and people skills, because that is so very important. It helps you to connect with people even at other senior levels. And during Unilever, we were actually given that opportunity. We had many connects and even projects with our director level. So it's not just your line manager that gives you input, but you get to connect with the senior members learn through their experiences, work alongside them, and gain their skills, how they work under stressful situations. So that was very helpful for me. So at Unilever, I would always consider it as the foundation that helped me be a corporate professional right now that I am, in whatever way I am. So it helped me to gain, to learn the true importance of being passionate in what I do, to work and to love what I do, to find my true purpose in just life and in work, in both, because we as a company, we always highlight about our purpose. And in my internship opportunities, those were some of the great things that I learned. It has been very much I would say, I would wish I could go back in time, go through those experiences together. But just to wrap it up, it was one of the greatest opportunities in my life. That was the foundation for everything.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Sharela. Something I really like is the phrase, the purpose of life, right? I think internship gives you an opportunity to find out whether this job is something I am passionate about, right? So yeah, Sharela, thank you very much. Next, let's move on to Mr. Sandamal. Mr. Sandamal, did you hear the question?
Yes, I had the question.
Okay.
I also had to go through internship for our degree program, but it was only a 4-month internship. So I did my internship at Kale's Food Products. So it's part of John Kale's, but a separate business unit, which is relatively small. So I had the opportunity to understand actually the whole business, but I was mainly in marketing. So actually, the best thing happened from the internship is, one thing is that I realized that there's no rocket science in the corporate world. It's like what you and I do in the university, same thing in different format that's happening in the corporate world. And it is not that big fiery monster that we think of industry, that we are getting so prepared for an interview.
Yeah.
There's nothing to be afraid of. So that is the main thing I learned after going for an internship. The second thing is that I realized that what we learn in the university under course modules is not the everything that we need to be prepared with. So those are the two main things. I was lucky to actually work with this brand manager who actually dedicated a lot of work to me. For that particular year, I did the marketing plan also. So the big opportunity, like they double check after that, but like they gave that opportunity, got the chance to go and meet agencies, discuss branding plans. But there I realized that sometimes, like, even though I was passionate about branding before I go for my internship, but then later I realized branding is again a part of marketing. Like, it's not the only thing that the main thing of doing branding or marketing, international marketing, is always about connecting with people, making decisions, get the team together. One good thing I realized again is that doing projects in the university is much more harder than making something happen in the corporate world. Because in the corporate world, you are paid to do something. There are hierarchies, there are people to tell you what to do, how to do, and there are deliverables. And if you do not deliver, your KPI is getting impacted, your performance and your future is questioned. But in the university, when you are leading projects, we all are volunteers.
Yes.
So when you are running a project, if you are a project lead or if you are handling a particular section of that project, you have to lead a set of people who are truly driven by the motivation only, driven by shared dreams, driven by shared purposes, and how you motivate that set of people and how you get things done, how you set higher targets. Like when we were doing the exposition, we went ahead and bought all these magazines, Time Magazine, Business Today, all these magazines we bought. We had all these magazines stuck in our body. And we want to do something like that. And we managed to come to a shared vision, like this is what we want to do. Like back then in 2005, 2006, all the magazines published in universities are like these souvenirs you do in the Kalaura and all. So those were the magazines published in universities, and we changed everything. Like suddenly there was a magazine coming out of University of Canania, which was sold even in Sarasai bookshop. So we set these examples, we shared that common dreams. So how good are you in convincing a set of people who are not paid to do it or bound to do that? So if you are good at that, corporate world is nothing, because there you get people who are bound to do things that you are asking to do.
Yes.
So I think that is the best learning I had during the internship, and that is what helped me to align what I want to do and be where I am today.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Mr. Sandaman, because it was an impressive answer, and I'm pretty sure from throughout the discussion, we can gain a lot of knowledge about internships and job opportunities. And thank you again, Mr. Sandaman. And let's move on to Mr. Milan. Mr. Milan, what do you have to share with us?
I speak about my intern life. I started the internship with Maersk, as I mentioned earlier. So after about 3 months into the internship, one day my CFO came to me and asked, there's a management training program, whether you like to start. So that's what changed my career. So Maersk, there's a global management training program called MISC. So it's Maersk International Shipping Education, where you get chance to go to Copenhagen 3 times a year. It's company paid. So company will bear the expenses. It's a 2-year program. After that, you get the chance to work in a abroad country, So you can select one country out of 3 countries, and whatever the country you select, you have to work there for 3 years and come back to Sri Lanka. So I was fortunate enough to get selected for that, because before applying for this internship, I actually applied for this training program, but I didn't get selected. I had to face about 10 interviews, but at the final interview, I got disqualified. So then I moved in as an intern. Then one day, the head of the finance came and offered me this opportunity. So what happened was, like, if you really like what you do, if the thing you are doing is the thing you want to do, is you will get a lot of energy and you will put in a lot of effort. It's coming natural. So like what happened was, Maersk was like my dream company. I wanted to get in there. So after I got that job, I was very enthusiastic there. So I worked a lot. I put in a lot of long hours, because I helped with the office projects. Even though I'm an intern, I help the seniors where there's a requirement, maybe for printing, maybe to photocopy. Maybe it's not relevant for me, but I helped in every way so I can learn also. And sometimes that's what matters. Like whatever for your future will come from your seniors. So it's always good to be in good books with them. So like, then they will offer you positions. You don't have to go behind. So if the organization knows that you are a committed person, if you are a person with high values, then they will come and offer you a job. So that's very important. Like sometimes we don't see that from the interns coming out now, because they think if you just get an allowance, right? It's about, most of the organizations, they pay about 10,000 for an intern, because the organization is teaching them. So they think, okay, I'm getting only 10,000, so I will be just learning, not doing anything extra. But don't do that. Think that this is an organization that belongs to you. Work like that, then people see a value in you. Always be creative. There will be problems. Contribute. Like even though you are a junior in the organization, contribute your ideas. So people see value in that, and sometimes you will get opportunities where you don't think. So that's because of that MISC program that changed my career. That's what put me out from science field to finance field. So that's the main reason I'm here today.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Milan. And I think like having a little allowance and all of these things, these are something that interns, what an intern like, what something intern doesn't like, right? Having a small allowance and so, but I think if we are passionate and if we show our true potential, and if we show that we are passionate, I think we can have blessings in disguise. So yeah, thank you, Mr. Milan. Right. So next question. I think this is the last question. So this question is for Mr. Sandamal and Ms. Chanela. Right. This is the question. What requirements should be fulfilled if an undergraduate wishes to directly apply for a job without following an internship? So I would like to hear from Mr. Sandamal first.
Malin, so there's no two different criteria. Like, what if you want to get selected as an intern and if you want to get selected as an employee directly, there are no two different paths. The same thing. Like we evaluate people based on their caliber, based on their experience and exposure in different areas and what they have earned right throughout their undergrad life, and we make the decision. Only thing is like when we make a decision to recruit an executive, we are a little bit more careful because that person who's coming in either can be a resource or either can be a liability. Because if you take an intern, after 4 months, 5 months, or 6 months, they will go. So you are not losing much, and it's not a liability. You can be happy that you help someone to learn. But when you recruit someone to be a permanent employee, we are expecting them to contribute to the growth of the organization. So we are a little bit more careful, selective, and you might have to go through a few more interview rounds. But my advice is, I don't know what year you are in the university. Don't wait till the final year until you finish your final exam to prepare your CV. Yeah. You should start building your CV the day you join university. Because most of the people who are interviewing you have some kind of experience, exposure doing different projects, work, sports in their university or school life. So when we ask questions from you, if you have just filled your CV for being a member or something without doing anything actual work, when we ask questions, we understand it. You can fill your CV with so many things, being a member of this and that and this. But when we ask you questions, we understand that you are lying. So don't lie in your CV. If you don't have anything, you don't have. So the best thing is build your CV from now on. Get involved with extracurricular activities. Not everyone can be president or someone in an organization, the extracurricular club or society, but whatever the task you take, you can contribute well. You can learn from that. So when you are in the interview, you can explain what you did, what your part in that. Because like even when we are recruiting people, we don't recruit everyone to be a CEO one day. We are recruiting people for different areas to different functions. And if you are good at what you did, that is an advantage. And especially like maybe you can think that while our university life, we were having this lockdown, it didn't happen. We only had online education. And being professionals, being in the industry, we also know that. So what we will judge you is that how well you utilize that time. Say, if you didn't have time to do any sports, where did you invest your time? Did you study something? Did you be a part of an online organization, online clubs and societies, activities, whatever you explain to us? I can't think of work what you are doing right now, but like how well you utilize your time. We will not compare you against an undergraduate who passed out 2-3 years back where they were physically in the university. And don't compare yourself to others. Try to build the path you want to be and like be genuine. And the interview, we will know that whether you are genuine or not. You can lie to a certain extent, but at one point we will realize you're not good at it. And be careful, like even if you join an organization, you are joining as a temporary worker, like you are in the probation for 6 months. So if you lie and come to an organization and join an organization, and if we let you go within that 6 months, knowing that you are not capable enough, that will be an even bad mark on the career. So try to be true to yourself. Build your CV from now on. Don't wait till you face the final exam to start your CV. Then you don't have anything to write and you don't have time to do anything to put into the CV either. And like one thing I tell always, like I used to do so many workshops in the university sometime back. Now what I tell is like more than like as same as extracurricular activities. If you can't speak English, I will not recruit you. For simple reason, in the current university itself, we know that you have this ELTU, and if you haven't had the need or enthusiasm to go and learn, because you know how the industry works, how the corporate world, that English is a must. And if you didn't have that need or the energy or the passion to learn that during the 3 or 4 years that you are in the university, what is the guarantee we have that you will learn that after joining the industry? Anything for that matter. So if you want a good career, you should build that. You need to do the due diligence and prepare yourself. Whether it's a job or internship, more you prepare yourself, better opportunities you will get. That is what I always tell whoever I meet with, talk to undergraduates and even recently pass out. Like, at one point you will start. Best thing is to build yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, thank you, Mr. Sandamal. And stepping into a good career is not something happen overnight. We have to build up from day one. We have opportunities as state university students. We have a lot of opportunities, so we have to use them. Thank you, Mr. Sandamal. So I would like to hear the opinion of Ms. Chanela as well.
Yes, Malindi, as Mr. Sandamal said, I totally agree with all the points that he mentioned. And if a person is, if an undergraduate in specific is hoping to apply for a permanent cadre position rather than going through an internship, I highly suggest they would have at least other professional qualifications or part qualified in other professionals, because again, if you're in your third year or fourth year, it is quite hard to show that paper qualification of possessing a degree. So you need to show that you have the knowledge needed also, and it could be shown through other professional qualifications as well. Additionally, you need to be able to show that you possess the skills, because some of the skills that have been helpful throughout my career are learning the basics in Excel, PowerPoint and Word. Even those very basics in your entry-level positions are very helpful, because you have the resources in your university, you have the lab facilities to learn those skills. And if you even use a data package, you could definitely go through those online tutorials. I mean, there are specific courses in university, but if you really want, if you think you need to go further than whatever that is being taught in these courses, IT courses, you have a lot of opportunities to do it on your own. So you need to be good in Excel and PowerPoint and Word as well. Like, sometimes it's just the very basics, but it helps you in the long term. I mean, in the long term of your entry level positions. So if you don't have any internship, if you're going straight away for a permanent cadre, another factor that would help, just as Mr. Sandamal mentioned, is showing the projects that you have involved with as your work experience. It won't come as work experience, but your university experiences, the projects where you took several leadership roles, where these projects, how much value you added to those projects, what difference you made in those projects, the contribution you can show in your CV apart from your internship. So those would be very helpful to gain that entry-level positions. And also you need to make sure those skills that you show will be able to compensate whatever you will be missing from an internship, because going straight away from an undergraduate to a corporate, a permanent cadre position means you will have a little bit of a gap, because the other candidates who applied would all possess somewhat of a corporate exposure. So you need to make sure you show the skills that are able to compensate that gap and help you get that position. So I think this answered your question, Mike.
Yes, Ms. Chanela, thank you very much for that insightful answer. So, all right, I think we have come to the end of the Q&A session. But hold on, as we promised at the beginning of the session, we have the Q&A session up next. So the audience, it's up to you. It's your chance to send your questions and clarify all your doubts. I think we have already got some questions from the audience. Okay. First question. Can we use banking field as an internship? So I would like to ask that question from Mr. Milan. Can we use banking field as an internship?
Yes, it's possible, but sometimes, like if you go for a professional qualification, like especially in accounting or management accounting, banking, sometimes banking experience doesn't count. So if you have such specific requirement, if your interest is in banking, you can start in banking sector.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Milan. I hope he has answered your question. Right. Next question. What is the most better for an intern, private or government? Private sector or government sector? Like, what is the most better for an intern? Mr. Sandamal, what do you have to share?
Very straightforward. Private sector.
Private sector. Okay.
I don't like some. Still, there are a mindset of certain people that there are government sector is the best, but I think that perception is driven by the pension scheme that they offer.
Yeah.
But I think we have.
I think Mr. Sandamal is having a connection issue. Yeah, I think Mr. Milan, what do you have to share?
I would also recommend private sector. Right? I remember in my previous section, I told that you need to learn best practices.
Yeah.
One of the reasons is to learn best practices, and I truly don't believe that government sector is the best place to do that. But sector, I would recommend the private sector.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Milan. Right. We have the third question from the audience. As interns, what would be the challenges that we will be facing in the workplace, and how do we overcome them? Ms. Shanella?
Challenges in the workplace. So as an intern, first few months of at least the first month of adapting to the work culture would be a tough challenge for you. Learning corporate etiquettes about using your emails, how to reach out to people, because you can't just call them at odd hours. Those basic etiquettes, learning them, and like building your introductory phase of your internship is quite a challenge. But apart from that, another challenge would be to balancing between your academics and the internship, the work that is allocated for you. But there are ways that you can overcome these challenges, because you can have a calendar, a proper timetable as to how to divide work. And most of the time when you start your internships, your lectures would be overnight after 5 or 6. So balancing between that is a skill that you need to possess, because everyone in your department or your faculty will be going through the same. So another challenge that I've seen actually quite among interns was they make a lot of excuses to get out of work and putting it on university, saying I have university lectures, I have university examinations. That was something that I saw during my internship as well, how much the colleagues actually take leaves. So that is something you will face. You will face a lot of time management issues, but you should never actually go to a quick solution, because internships will create a lot of opportunities for you if you perform well. So your performance will always come from those. So just because you face a challenge, never give up, work on it, work on your skills, do your part, and try to overcome those challenges. But for me, during my internship, those were some of the challenges. Learning the corporate environment, because it's my first job, it's the first time. And even another challenge was working virtually. Work from home was it was quite a new thing. Systems were getting adapted because it was all digitalized now. So those will be challenges, but there are things you could do. You can do your part so that those challenges won't be a hassle in your career journey.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Chanela. Right. Next question. Is it possible?
Malindi,
Yes, Mr. Sandamal.
before we go to the next question, I need to add a little bit because I got disconnected while I was answering the previous question.
Yes, sir.
About the government sector and private sector.
Yeah.
While I said private sector is what I recommend, please go by what we said earlier also. You have to go by what makes you happy. Because if you feel like,
true.
so I will answer you based on my passion. My career growth, what I like, I answer you based on that, my passion. But if you have a different career aspiration, if there's different thing that makes you happy, it's like you want to go to a teacher and inspire the young generation. By all means, there are different routes that you should take. So I can't tell you one answer, this is what you should do. Based on the career aspiration you have, you might pick different areas. But based on my experience, my passion, I advise you the private sector, because when you do the calculation maths, it makes more financial sense and more career aspiration, because there are set limits and processes and number of years you have to fulfill in government sector. That is what my answer was based on. But you should do what makes you happy, the career that will make you happy.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Sandamal.
Bad network.
No, it's okay. We all are having that issue. So yeah. And thank you again, Mr. Sandamal. Right. Our next question. Does our academic year or level matter when applying for an internship? Ms. Chanela?
Actually, Malindi, no, it won't matter as long as you are able to balance between your work and you are able to complete the projects that are assigned for you. Because I started my internship when I was in my third year first semester. So I had around 3 full semesters to be completed while I was working. But it won't, if you are able to balance it, it won't be an issue for the organizations that you will be working with. But then again, it would depend on the level of internships, because as I said before, there are certain internship programs where they prefer candidates who are in the last semester or the final semester. It depends on the organization that you're applying to and the specific internship opportunity. But if you're in your third year, you will definitely be able to apply. It still depends, because I have seen so many undergraduates who have been working in the first year itself. It always depends on whether you will be able to balance your work. As long as you complete your work, and you don't ask too much leaves or too much time off from work, it won't be an issue.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Chanela.
Malindi, I will add a few more to that.
Yes, sir.
Sorry about that. As an advice, like you can go to internship from the first year itself. But only thing is, like, see what we are trying to gain from that and what we'll be losing from that. As industry, we would like to have interns that we can evaluate and earmark for us to recruit later. By having internship from the first year itself, you will lose out your life in the university. Because you can always go to a good career, but you can't have your university life back. So don't try to lose your university life over this. Have the balance, because like what I really, even today, what I enjoy most is my university life. Things we did, the trips we went, and the experience we gain, like even to fill your CV, the extracurricular activities, sports, everything, you need to have time to do that. So if you try to do internship from the first year itself and then have that experience, it's good. But keep in mind that you're losing certain things also by doing that. So try to find that balance and decide again what you want to do.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Sandamas. Yeah, right. So we have another question. What is the most important thing? Is it the class that we have obtained for our degree, or is it the experience we have gathered? I think Mr. Sandamal, I think you have an answer to that.
Yeah. Yes, I have an answer. Like that again depend on that. It again connect to my previous answer.
Yeah.
Because like one thing is that when we say what is more important, if you are in going to a corporate life where you are more into front side of the business, then yes. But then again, there can be some students here who are willing to go in science field, labs, or scientific area. So that is different. And if you are going into a management training, front end, marketing, finance, HR, that is different. So I don't think we can give a straight answer for that. The best thing is to see what you would like to do and then base the rest according to that.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Right. The next question. As interns, can we become permanent at the same company after completing the internship period, even if we haven't graduated yet? Mr. Milan.
Absolutely. Like there are previous occasions in my department also. Even though like if after completing your internship, if your performance is good, people will recommend you. You can be get recruited to the permanent card. That 100% depends on your performance on the job sector. Like yes, there are some qualifications, entry level qualifications that you need to complete, but it's flexible also. So the recruiting manager sometimes has that flexibility. Okay, you have another 6 months to finish your degree. So by the time your probation is ending, you have to finish your degree. But till that, we can get into a permanent card. So it's not a 100% requirement.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Milan. We have another question. Is it possible for us to apply for an international internship? Ms. Chanela, do you have an answer to that?
Yes, of course, you will be able to apply for international internships, but some of the international internships that I have come across during my university life, because through the university itself, you have been recommended towards several programs. So during these internships, you might have to allocate a lot of hours to work with them virtually, because you will not be able to visit any work place. But other than that, those are one of wonderful opportunities to be part of. Because that experience will help you definitely when once you start working in another local company. And there are certain summer internship opportunities that happens locally but are funded through international organizations. You can be a part of those. Again, if this is an internship opportunity that is if this aim of this internship opportunity is to satisfy the credits of your university requirement, you might need to check it up with your department, because I remember having certain restrictions from university. But if it is for your overall exposure and for your experience, definitely you can apply for those.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Chanela. The audience, do you have any more questions? You can either unmute yourself and ask, or you can drop the question to the chat box. Yes, sir.
Until they ask question, I'll give one more perspective into this
Yes.
discussion. But like now,
Yes.
I think the undergraduates going to this maybe from maths, maybe from science, arts, commerce, or different areas. The one thing I would like to suggest and recommend you guys is that don't limit to your area. Try to understand different opportunities in the job market now. There are some fields that were not existing when we were leaving the university. But now there are totally different areas that anyone can do. If you know there are opportunities of the best simple example is my wife. Like she actually after under O-levels she did the degree and went into digital marketing side. By the age of 20 years old, she's a manager in Jetway. So there are different opportunities available in the industry that we are not exposed to. You need to go out and look for these opportunities, and then you will get those things. Like I don't think anyone, most of you guys are thinking of a career in digital marketing, but these are the growing industries. So if you don't research, if you don't try to understand the real opportunities in the market, you will stick into same small world that is known to us. That is, we are exposed to during the university life.
Yeah.
Expand your horizon and try to understand different opportunities everywhere. Like I joined the industry when I was 24 and had to compete few years before I get into managerial posts. But if you know the right path, if you research right, there are so many opportunities available. And the second thing is be willing to put hard hours into work. So like what we see in this generation is not an insult, but most of the time what we see is people want easy success. Like within 1 year, 2 years, want to be a manager with like want to do 8 to 5 job and then want to be manager in 2 years. That doesn't happen. It might happen very rare. Like don't get motivated by this Facebook post or Instagram post of a success of 1 or 2 people. There are more failures than success in the world, so don't get fooled by that. Try be prepared to put hard hours in, whether you are an intern or whether you are in permanent. Like I have loaded a lorry to make sure that my shipment does not miss the vessel. Because if we miss that, we have to send it by air. Spend $30,000-$40,000. So to avoid that, we have put it into that level, and that is a commitment you show to your job. Nobody asks you to do that, but you do that because you want to make things happen. So be ready to put that hard hours, hard work into whatever you are doing. Then you, at one point, you will get the benefit of it.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Mr. Sandarma, because I think this is a refreshing start for all of us, because all the three panelists, they motivate. I think the right choice of word is they kind of motivated all of us to step out of our comfort zone and find our purpose, I would say like that. So, right. I think it seems like there are no more questions. Thank you again, everyone, for your questions. And thank you again, Mr. Milan, Ms. Chanela, and Mr. Sandamal, to this fruitful conversation. And I hope that you were, the audience, you were able to clarify all your doubts regarding internships and professional life. So, as every good thing has an end, we have reached the end of today's discussion. So before making the end, I would like to invite you all to take a group photo. So I would like to invite all of you to switch on your cameras if possible and capture the group photo. So get ready, guys. I will count. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I think, right. Okay, I think that the time is enough. Okay, right. So I would like to invite our dearest member, Sachi, to deliver the word of thanks. Sachi, over to you.
Thank you, Malindi. Marking the end of INCITE episode 1, The Voice of Intern, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to our esteemed panelists, the General Manager, Sales and Marketing at MS Holdings, Mr. Sandamar Ranatunga, the Finance Manager at Serendipol Private Limited, Mr. Milan Ratnayaka, and the Trade Marketing Executive at Heineken Lanka Limited, Ms. Shanala Fernando, for sharing your valuable knowledge and expertise with us today. In addition, I would like to add my heartfelt thanks to the Senior Treasurer of LEDKLN, Dr. Dilani Vikramarachchi, for her continuous support in making this session a great success. And then I must mention our deep sense of appreciation for all the beloved executive board members of the club for their efforts in guiding us to conduct a successful session. And further, I'm truly grateful to my fellow INCITE organizing committee members and all the volunteers who provided their immense support in making this event a great success. So last but not least, I would like to take this opportunity to thank all the members of LEDKLN who are here with us today. So your enthusiastic participation was the vital point in having a successful session. And finally, I would like to invite all of you to join us in our upcoming sessions as well. So in order to widen your knowledge and to make your LED journey a memorable one, thank you and stay safe.
Thank you, Sachi. And once again, thank you everyone for your attentive participation, and also dear panelists, thank you very much for your valuable knowledge. I think the participants, I hope your internship plans you the career of your dreams. So hope to see you all in our upcoming sessions as well. And until we meet again, good night and stay safe.